So when I was a kid and adolescent, I was never in the best shape. I had a few extra kilos on. I ate whatever I wanted to eat. I was playing soccer at the time, so I was probably moving my body a lot, probably every day for 1 or 2 hours, and a lot of moving time, but I didn't think about my diet. And it wasn't until I started hitting the gym when I was 15 that I had a moment that hurt me a little bit, hurt me a lot. And it was when I was with my friends in the gym, and they were maybe a little bit more mature than I was, and they were stronger than me. And we were all doing like pull-ups, and they could do a couple of pull-ups. And then I was last in the row to do a pull-up, and I didn't manage to do one pull-up. And I remember at that moment that stung a little bit, that I was not able to do a one pull-up, and feeling like they could do it and I was not as strong as them. And that changed my fitness journey at that point to the better, but I also had some struggles with that, because when I was able to do pull-ups, and when I lost some kilograms or pounds, and I got a six-pack, and at the same time I was getting better playing soccer, I suddenly got this validation from the world. Like, people are attending to me, people gave me compliments, people were telling me how great shape I was in. And so I realized that I wasn't enough for who I was, but for how I looked and what I did. And that put me on a trajectory with my diet and complex mindset on my body and my nutrition and movement. So I want to take you through the fitness journey from that point to the day today, which I've never felt as secure and comfortable in my body, and I've never had as good relationship to myself, my body and my movement and what I eat. In 2011, I was kind of starting this journey of being obsessed of being a better football player, and I realized that I started to see the world through becoming better at soccer, and I realized that nutrition played a huge role. And I didn't know that, so it was a bit shocking to me, but when I realized that, I started to think about nutrition. So I started to eat like a lot of non-processed food, like just chicken, cottage cheese, tuna, rice, sweet potatoes, beef, and my diet was mostly consist of that in 2011. But it wasn't, and I had like these cheat days. So once a week I had cheat days where I got like pizzas and candy and ice cream and all of that. And how I was nourishing my body and the mindset I had wasn't coming from love, it was coming from fear of getting those extra pounds on back again, fear of not getting validated from the world. And I banned myself eating certain types of food unless it was Saturday, which created like strict rules for me. And when I broke those rules, it created like shame and guilt, which made me put even stricter rules, and which made it harder for me to follow up. So I'll take an example. If I had candy days on Saturdays, I ate everything, because I was allowed to eat everything, and I wasn't going to be able to eat that for like 6 days. And one time I had one chocolate bar on a Sunday during the movies. And the week after, I was just punishing myself in the gym. I was doing extra training, measuring myself, how much I weighed for each training, and after each training, how much I lost. And sometimes I didn't go out of the gym until I lost a specific amount of weight. And I was really insecure. I was just, after every unhealthy, so if I finish that story, so instead of just being human and having one chocolate bar, which is not a lot in the whole picture, I shaped myself for like a week to somehow pay the dues for having one chocolate bar. And that was not healthy in terms of my mindset. So that was definitely just based on fear. And always when I had something unhealthy to eat, I went into the bathroom and checked if I have a six-pack anymore. And I was always like feeling my stomach, and I probably do that a little bit today as well. And this was super successful method in terms of being in good shape, being lean. But my mindset was from fear, it was from shame, I was not in a healthy relationship with myself at the time. But it worked. It made me more successful, but I was not feeling the best while I was doing it. In 2015, because again, I was seeing the world, I did everything to become a better soccer player, and I actually had 5 years of being vegan or whole plant-based food athlete. And it was during the peak of my career, so I saw some guy in Fox over Nice, and he was telling me that he recovered faster by eating plant-based diet. So I just decided to give it a try for 3 months, and I didn't look back for 5 years. And then at this point, I'm the captain of my soccer team, and I'm at the peak of my soccer career, and I was just eating plant-based, and I felt great at the time because I was really careful of eating the correct food, so I'll get all the nutrition supplements, nutrition elements and ingredients that would make me be able to be plant-based. And I think that's actually possible with plant-based food diets, but I just think that most people don't do it. And during that time, I was still having this mindset of one day a week I was gonna cheat, which I absolutely think is just an insane idea to look at fitness as, because I think it creates a lot of, it doesn't work in your favor, and I'll explain why a little bit later on. But before the vegan era and in the vegan era, I was still playing professional soccer, and mostly I was like training soccer 6 times a week with the team. And then maybe 4 times a week I was doing extra training. So either was before training, so I was doing passes, drills, or after training, like shooting, doing some drills, etc. And I was probably lifting 4 or 5 times a week on pre-season, and maybe once or twice in season. And it's basically most like athletic types of workouts. It's less of bodybuilding, and because when you're playing soccer, you just want to be strong in your core. You don't need to have a strong big chest or biceps, etc. And then after the vegan era, I finished up playing soccer, and the real reason I was vegan was that because it was for soccer, it was for health benefits, not the potential environmental benefits or the ethical benefits, which I totally understand. So I noticed that when I stopped playing soccer and I took some blood measures, my iron was so low, so I was so tired all the time. And also I assessed my long-term blood sugar, and I was a little bit above the lower part of the range for having developing early diabetes. And then I just consulted the experts, and I went outside of my vegan bubble ideology, because when I was in there, I was just like, why are not everybody vegan? And I thought all meat was unhealthy for you, and I thought that eating plant-based was the best for you. But it kind of got me, these health challenges that I had, got me to zoom a little bit out and realized that I researched a lot, and I realized that eating grass-fed beef and clean eggs and maybe milk products isn't as harmful for you as I thought, and also it's higher in calories and less in carbohydrates, which is really good for blood sugar. So I stopped being vegan in 2021. But at the same time, I started to develop all the types of relationship with my food. I stopped banning myself to eat certain types of food, and I stopped having just one cheat day a week. I instead allowed myself to eat whatever I wanted to eat whenever I wanted to. And paradoxically, it actually made me select more healthy food over the long run. And if it was a Wednesday night and I wanted some chocolate, I'd just have chocolate and enjoy it. But most of the time, I didn't want that food because I was allowed to have any food that I wanted. And it didn't create this destructive cycle of I must eat this, I shame myself for doing a mistake, and then I put even harsher rules, and just this destructive cycle. And it broke me out of that cycle and was really good for my fitness journey. And when I stopped playing soccer, I was an athlete, so I knew I wanted to train. I train a lot today, and I trained a lot of the time, but I signed up for an ultramarathon, so at 38 miles with 7,000 feet in elevation. So I was running a lot, and then also at the same time, I was just starting to do bodybuilding. Bodybuilding like with 6-day splits, either push-pull legs or like chest, back, arms, legs, front, legs, back, and shoulders. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I moved to the States, and I called that the bulk area. And if you see an old photos of me or old videos of me in the bulk area, I decided to bulk really for the first time in my life when I moved to the States, just eat a lot and just focus on lifting weights. And I've never been as heavy or as strong during that point. And I also think that part of that, I was numbing myself a little bit because I was struggling at the time. And if I reflect on back, probably I was eating to numbing myself a little bit. And my diet then consists mostly of like beef, Greek yogurt, avocado, fish, eggs, and then also a lot of protein bars. I ate a lot of protein bars during that time, sometimes just way too much. And but the cons of that was that when I was bulking, I was just found myself walking upstairs, and I was not like, had to breathe, and wasn't running much. I was running maybe, I think at some period I wasn't even running. So then I realized like, oh, I'm never gonna do that again, because I want to have this be in a holistic fitness space, so I can do whatever I want to do. So somebody calls me to do a strength workout, I can. CrossFit workout, I can. Do yoga, I can. Climb a mountain, I can. All with run an ultramarathon, I can with short notice. And it wasn't until I moved to Venice Beach in 2023 where I would say my fitness journey changed. As in, it just became more of a part of who I am, and I was not doing it for something external. Meaning that I've been mainly focused on bodybuilding 6 times a week, and like powered bodybuilding, so I emphasize squats and deadlifts and all those big compound exercises. But I've also been running way much, so I've been way much more. So I've been running like 3 to 5 times a week now for the past 2 years. And what I've been emphasizing is just getting at least 50 grams per meal, and getting 4 meals a day. So that gives me to 200 grams of protein per meal, which is good for my weight and my goals, because I want to build muscles while being a little bit more leaner. And what also happened in that period, I stopped fasting. During my vegan era, I was completely obsessed with things. So that obsessed that I started fasting. I didn't want to eat anything with sugar, anything with processed seed oils, and I never ate anything unhealthy because my relationship with food wasn't that good. And I was so slim, like probably 40 pounds lighter than I am today. And my girlfriend at the time asked me if I had a problem, which I probably did, because I was just obsessed with it. And mainly also because going to social situations, I was more stressing over the food that would be in the social situation than just going and enjoying the social situation with the people, because that's probably better for my health and well-being. But I either didn't go or brought my own food, or when I went and ate food that I didn't want to eat, I shamed myself. And I think now, during the last 2 years, I've been just surrounded by people who are big into wellness, and I changed my environment a lot. I think Venice Beach is probably the best place on earth to be and be surrounded to if you want to be healthy and have wellness. And I realized it's just like normal to work out 2 times a day, and both be able to run fast and long, and also be able to lift heavy weights. So that just became the norm for me. And then I'm also surrounded by people who are healthier and want to choose healthier things, so I get influenced by their decisions. And also today I just find I've moved away from fear to love in terms of my fitness and the relationship I have with my body. So instead of like focusing on I want to get to a certain number on a scale, I want to look a certain way because of how other people view me or because how I view myself, I'm more focused on like working out and eating. Working out helps me explain myself because I'm an athlete, so it gives me a lot of meaning in my life. But also what I've been focused on is just the well-being aspect and the health aspect of how I feel when I am really active, and especially like competence part. It's like focus on becoming better at lifting heavier or running faster or running longer distances is so measurable, and when I experience a sense of competence in that domain, it gives me a lot of fulfillment. So instead of like, I think my mindset shifted from like the external looks, how other people view me, number on a scale, fat percentage and all of that, to internal, how I feel, my competence, and how it helps me to explain myself. And then the bonus is like, I'm in a great shape, and people probably look at me and say like, he's in a fantastic shape, and I feel good. But the most important part, I feel good about myself. And my approach today with food is in social situation is just like, if I'm in a social situation, I go out for a dinner, I will choose the most healthiest course on the menu, because I don't want to skip that social situation, because I know how important that is for my well-being. And in some instances when I'm not able to buy something healthy, I'll just have the unhealthy option and just savor it fully and look at it more for a fuel for the workout day after, instead of being obsessed over it's not healthy for me in the moment. Because me savoring the food and focusing on the connection I'm building is way more better for my health meaning and happiness than that one meal that I'm gonna put in my body. And I don't shame myself for that. I'm like, I think about it, if I do it, if I eat too much, if I eat something that I'm not mindful that I was eating, I just ask myself like, what did you do wrong? Okay, I ate too much or I ate this food. Okay, what do you wanna do next time when you go into a similar situation? And I'm like, probably eat the more healthy food or just not eat or whatever. Yeah, okay, then do that next time. And then I just keep on going. I'm not shaming myself for doing it. I'm not saying you're a piece of shit, you're an idiot because you ate food that you weren't supposed to, or like, I'm not saying like, oh, you ate one unhealthy food, you had some candy or chocolate, but now like the floodgates open, so I have this all or nothing mindset of like, now I lost my streak, so now I'm just gonna eat chocolate. It's like when you break your habits, when like smoking or whatever, and you have one cigarette and you think you've like kinda ruined everything, but that's not true. You just focus on like, get back on the horse as quickly as possible, whether that's when you have one cigarette or when you eat unhealthy food. It's just like, instead of shaming yourself and thinking about all or nothing mindset, that you're going to just, you know, when your car breaks and one tire gets blown off, don't go out of the car and just fucking explode the other tires. You fix the one tire so you get back on the horse. And it doesn't matter if you have one healthy meal or you have the nicotine pouch or the cigarette or the alcohol or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just how quickly are you to jump back on the horse and keep your momentum going, because all of this stuff doesn't matter in the long term. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I've never felt as positively with my body, less obsessed about it, more focused on what it's giving me, both nourishing myself with food that I know contribute to my goals, but also working out because it helps me, as I said, to feel good and explain myself and all of that. And I'm not hitting the weight, I'm not checking at the scale, the number on the scale each day. I'm not checking my six-pack every day. And it just feels effortless because I've developed a lot of self-awareness towards food. I've gone through some painful associations with relationships and not being enough if I'm not in a good shape, and from fear to love. But I think the real switch in this is to focus on something internal, like feeling, competence, instead of something external, like a scale or how you look. And I think the bonus is that you will look good and other people will notice that. But that motivation, that internal motivation, is going to eat the external motivation for breakfast. So that's basically my fitness story. And today I can do everything. Somebody asked me to do a CrossFit workout tomorrow, I could do it. If somebody asked me to climb a big mountain after a week, I'm in for it. Somebody persuades me to run 100K, which I did this summer. It was a month notice, and I trained because I had the baseline, and I just trained a lot next 2 weeks, and then I was in second place of the Icelandic Championship and killed the race. 3 days later I summit the highest mountain in the lower 48, so highest mountains in US except for Alaska. I'm doing a high rocks in December. I'll probably do a big long race or run next summer. I'm gonna do some other ones in between. And I'm investing in all of my fitness, not just for me now, but more for me in the future, because we're living longer, so our longevity span is increasing, but our health span is more important. So I don't want to be the last 15 years of my life just on 3-4 different medications, maybe tied to a hospital bed and able to do nothing. I want to invest in my health now in a way that makes me able to be active as a granddad. I want to climb a mountain in the day after just die in my sleep. So I want to be functioning, I want to function really well for the most part of my life. And I think that's how I saw my granddad, which was a big role model for me when it came to health. When he was 92, he was still going to the gym 3 times a week, and he was swimming 2 times a week. And he was really active, and he functioned well and was extremely sharp in his brain. And that's the best way to decrease the speed of cognitive decline, is to work out. Is movement, is both lifting weights and also running and all that stuff. And he was a big role model for me in that way, and he lives kinda in my bones. He does live in my bones, and I think about him a lot. And yeah, and I think the balance between, like, it's not healthy to run a marathon 100K, but at the same time I'm 32 and I will not be able to do this when I'm older, to be so active and say yes to adventures. So I'm also leveraging that I'm young, because I think you should try to lift as heavy as possible when you're young. You should try to run as fast as you can when you're young, as long as you can, because this is the time you can do it. But at the same time, working out and eating in a way that supports you at your life when you're like 75. I think that's like the balance I'm navigating through. But yeah, my goal is to be in better shape at 40 than I'm now in 33. And I think I will. I think it's possible. And for now, I'm going to keep on doing power bodybuilding and more like maybe athletic football, soccer stuff again. More like jumping, more emphasis on core, and then running a lot and then doing different challenges based on the season of my life. And I think my fitness has given me so much. It made me more confident. It makes other people respect me more, I would say. I think it's a great marker to be in health for all areas of your life. If you walk into a meeting and you're in great shape, that's a marker of how disciplined you are with your health. It gives me a lot of experiences, so I've seen places and done things that I would never be able to do if I wasn't in such a good shape. It's given me a lot of sense of accomplishment physically wise. It's helped me, as I said, understand myself and an athlete, and I will be an athlete until the day I die. So yeah, that's my fitness journey. I think it's really complex, both for both women and men. And if you have any questions about fitness or whatever, just comment. And I hope you got something from my story and learned something from what I do. Otherwise, it was just fun to express this journey, and I'm hoping that I did that well enough. But as always, thank you so much for being here. Your attention and energy towards those videos means the world to me. And keep taking your fitness level to the next journey, but take care of your relationship that you have with your body at the same time, because you don't want to be in great shape but still be miserable inside. All right, cheers.